What's going on, guys, and welcome from my bedroom. I have been isolated here because it's Super Bowl Sunday and the family doesn't like football. So I'm in here with all my pregame stuff, record a couple videos, watch the game, fun things like that. However, guys, I apologize. My tier list was not that good. I took it down because after playing end on end for days, I realized it's like, man, I don't want people to see that tier list and actually use it going forward because I don't want to mislead you guys. So I did take it down because I got it wrong. I underestimated certain decks more than I thought I was. I thought maybe they'd move up a little bit, but they're significantly better than I'd given them credit for. So I'm here to admit my mistake and give you guys the 10 best decks headed into YCS Las Vegas. We see tier limits took 3 of the top 4 at YCS Leon, and they just knocked off Cash Tiro, so they will have a mirror match in the finals. Unfortunately, that match kind of stink to watch on stream, but what people don't understand a lot of time on stream, there's so much pressure when the clock's ticking, when everyone's watching, when the prizing is right there. Same with cash tournaments online. People always, I see them commenting on DB Grinders videos like, oh, why'd they do this? Why didn't they do this? Well, one, you get to see their hands. You know what they have, so obviously it's easier to play it out. Two, you don't have that timer going. You don't have the pressure of losing hundreds of dollars on the line. Like, the pressure really is something that, unless you're in it, you might not feel it. But here today, guys, top 10 best decks, YCS Las Vegas. Number 10, Drytron. This spot, I was like, man, I feel like there's so many that could go here. I was like, Sky Striker's not bad. Actually, I got a little list here. Sky Striker, Mathmech, Plunder Patrol, even Naturia, Dark World, Rika. There's a lot of decks that I was like, are right in this range. My top 9, I felt like those were definitely the 9 best decks, without breaking down like all the different sub-steps like Sprite, Evil Twin, Sprite, Runic, things like that. But the top 9, I was like, okay, I feel like most people would have these top 9 in their top 10. That last spot, I was just like, Drytron just brings so much to the table, and if Bystials aren't present, that's going to be very, very good for them. So Drytron coming in as my 10th best deck. Number 9, Dragon Link. I had them significantly higher in my tier list, and I do still think they're a very good deck. I just think less people are going to be playing this deck than I expected. Less people playing it, less tops, less representation, lower on the charts, because representation makes up a huge part of this. Number 8, one of our new decks from the Amazing Defenders, Mechanco Libromancer. I played against this deck a few times, and it's honestly, I don't want to say scary because it's not scary. It's unexpected, and if you don't know what the deck does, well, you're probably going to be in for a bit of a surprise. Definitely go look into it. If you guys want, we'll break it down and do a how to beat Mechanco video, or do a how to beat on any of these decks if you want. But Mechanco coming in as my 8th best deck for Vegas. Number 7, the deck that we all wanted to go away, Tier Limits. Maybe I got them too low, maybe too high, I don't know, but we can all agree that the deck is still good. Haveness to 1 hurt so much. Really all their fusion cards going to 1. People bring up the OCG ban list, but they had more fusion names is the big thing. Like, they have 1 planet, true, 3 planet here, but they lost the names to mill. Like, would you rather mill Haveness or mill planet? It's pretty easy which one you would rather mill, right? And on top of that, they still have 3 Medora, 3 Kelbeck, whereas we got 4 Shizu cards total over here. They have 8 still total over there. So that's another big difference. I don't think comparing OCG and TCG is fair in that regard, but Tier Laments is my number 7 deck of the format. Number 6, Runic. I had these guys as on the back end of 2 to Rogue, and I was like, I really think that can do good, but I just don't know if people are going to pick up the deck. Well, I think I'm wrong. I think a lot of people are going to pick it up. I think Runic is going to be a not super popular deck, but a little more than I maybe expected in the beginning, and I do have them as my 6th best deck of the format. You can see them combined with things like Cash Tira. You can see them combined with Sprite more popularly in a semi-pure sense, if you will, as well. I just think Runic is still a deck that you definitely need to look out for once again. Number 5, the best trap deck of our format. We had them as a tier 1.5. We had this deck already up pretty high. Labyrinth. This deck is, like I said, it's the best back row deck of the format. It really makes you think twice, and I think a big part of why this deck does good, because you look at back row decks, there's not a ton of back row decks that are that great, so people kind of have to play more main deck focus on what's predominant, and that allows a deck like Labyrinth, where they're a mix of monsters and back row, but really piggyback off that back row, to succeed because you're less prepared for them. You play generic things like Ash, like Imperm, to stop them, but in a general sense, in a vacuum, the deck does get to sneak under the radar a little bit, at least until the side decks come out. Number 4, probably the deck that I was most wrong about on my tier list. I had Sprite as a tier 2 deck, and they're anything but. This deck is still borderline tier 1. Like, playing against it, watching on DB Grinder, seeing it in other replays, like Elf hurt, don't get me wrong, Elf hurt a lot in the grind game. Turn 1 didn't do a whole lot because the Bujin kind of replaced it, and they can double cross to get 2 Toads, and Toad gets follow up. However, you know, they still lose that grind game. It's such a weird spot, I feel like, because on one hand, I don't think the deck's like insanely strong, but the deck can also just play a ton of hand traps, go second, OTK. The deck can play Runic. The deck can play Evil Twin. Like I said, the Toad, Water, Frog variant is still very much alive, and they can still double Toad you. Kind of stinks when you don't have like Red, double Toad, and then double Cross as like a different form of disruption, because Elf can bring Toad back. Now you use double Cross to bring your Toad back again. However, it is still pretty good overall. Number 3, Sword Soul. So originally I had Dragon Link as my 3rd best deck of the format. Like I said, power level, maybe they might still be up there, but I don't know. I changed my opinion after playing some of these others. Sword Soul, like, they have such a good toolbox. Synchros are so strong. Being able to go second and break boards with the best of decks, I think that's where some of these decks actually kind of struggle. They have room for them going second. Tech cards, blowout cards, hand traps. Sword Soul, just a very, very good deck. This format can go first, can go second, really can do it all. Number 2, some people may want these 2 inverted, but however, I know people are going to be over prepared for Kashtira, and maybe that knocks them down or such, but if people are over prepared for it, and that is the reason that they're not the best deck, is because people are too ready for it, doesn't the fact that everyone's that ready for it prove that it is in fact the best deck? People are just ready for it. So maybe they're the best deck, but they don't give you the best chance to win because people are too ready for it. So maybe Branded Despia gives you the best chance to win YCS Vegas. However, I think Kashtira is the best deck. They're my numbers 1 and 2. If you don't know what they do, well, let's go look at some combos. Let's break it down. Let's do a how to beat. Let me know down below. Make sure there's people who want it, because I've put so much time into some of those videos, and for the small return on them, sometimes it makes it a little harder. And I know it's like, just kind words, guys. Little kind words go a long way when making videos. But otherwise, DB Grinder puts out great content. There are so many channels with combo videos on. I spent 3 hours last night watching combo videos on all 10 of these decks just to make my deck choices and write things down, took notes, what hits what deck, what stops it here, hit this card, hit that card, doing all this stuff, because that's the best way to prepare for an event, is to know your opponent's decks inside and out. So what is the best way to win YCS Vegas? Research, time, practice, and play one of these 10 decks. All 10 of them have the chance to win. All 10 of them are good enough to win. You, the pilot, just needs to put in the time and the effort, and obviously a little luck. RNG never hurt anybody. But guys, this is my 10 best decks heading into YCS Las Vegas. Let me know down below what you think, what decks are too high, what decks are too low, or what should be changed. Thanks for watching, and until next time.